Hi and welcome to India's number one construction podcast, BuildMate Podcast.
पिछले 3 दिनों से मैं एक छोटे से गांव में हूँ, दूर पहाड़ों में, उत्तराखंड में। इस गांव का नाम गिनई है और हालांकि अगर किसी को बताना हो तो ये रानीखेत लगता है। और इस जगह का नाम ऑफ ग्रिड गिनाई रखा है, यहाँ के जो ओनर्स हैं उन्होंने। दिल्ली में धुआं बढ़ गया था और हमारे पास ये अपॉर्चुनिटी थी कि हम एक हॉलीडे होम शूट करें। लेकिन ये इंट्रो मैं आपको इसलिए दे रहा हूँ बिकॉज़ यहाँ आने के बाद पिछले 3 दिनों में कुछ एक पर्सपेक्टिव में बदलाव आया है, कुछ नए आइडियाज़ आए हैं। मैंने लिखना शुरू कर दिया दोबारा, जो मैं पहले किया करता था। बट कहीं ना कहीं इस घर ने मुझे इंस्पायर किया है कि मैं जब मेरे बाल सफ़ेद होने लग जाएं तो एटलीस्ट एक छोटा सा टारगेट अपनी लाइफ का ये होना चाहिए कि शायद एक साफ़ हवा में, एक सुर्ख वादी में, एक बहुत सुंदर से वातावरण में अपना एक हॉलीडे होम बनाया जाए। मैं एक हॉलीडे होम आज कवर कर रहा हूँ आप लोगों के लिए एंड दिस इज़ ओन्ड बाय मिस अंजना सिंह एंड हर फैमिली। अभी मैं उस घर के आगे खड़ा हूँ जहाँ मैं पिछले 3 दिन से रह रहा हूँ। और इट्स नॉट जस्ट द हाउस, इट इज़ एवरीथिंग अबाउट दिस हाउस, एवरीथिंग अबाउट द सराउंडिंग्स। हर इस वादी के अंदर की एक छोटी छोटी हवा की जो मैंने महसूस करी है, जो पक्षियों की आवाज़ मैं सुन रहा हूँ, जो इस वैली के अंदर से आवाज़ें आ रही हैं, जिस तरीके की खुशबू है एक हवा में, वो जो मैंने महक जो मैंने महसूस करी है, ऐसा अनुभव नहीं किया मैंने कई सालों में। आई थिंक इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड बी इंस्पायर्ड कि हमारे गोल्स ऐसे हों लाइफ के कि हम कभी किसी दिन कुछ ऐसा अपनी लाइफ में भी अचीव कर सकें। सो आई वांट टू शो यू वेयर आई एम। हाय एंड वेलकम टू इंडियाज़ नंबर वन कंस्ट्रक्शन पॉडकास्ट, BuildMate Podcast। आज मेरे साथ मेरी फ्रेंड अंजना सिंह हैं, जिनके एक बहुत खूबसूरत से हॉलीडे होम में बैठे हैं, जिसका शॉट आपने इसे जस्ट पहले देखा था। हाय अंजना जी, हाउ आर यू?
I'm very well, thank you,
You
Rishabh.
want to tell something to our audience about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Anjana Singh. So I basically was born here and I lived a couple of years of my life here. After that, I kept traveling around the country, and so my father is from the Kumaon Regiment. This was his last posting as well. Retired as a brigadier from here. So I'm married into a 4G house as well. While growing up, Rishabh, we've been living in the mountains a lot.
Yeah.
So there was always that thing of, coming back to the mountains. So like I said before, I've changed almost 12 schools. I practically went from north, south, east, west, and a couple of years in Botswana,
Yeah.
which is in South Africa. And from there, we did like a 2 months of trip of, with my parents and my brother. We went around Europe and the US.
Yeah.
And for a kid of just 11 years, it was just mind-boggling. It just opened up all these amazing things,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
were to be, done and achieved, and what the world was like. And it was just amazing. So that's a bit about me.
Yeah. And you've done your fashion designing and...
Yeah, so I was always creative. I was, always since childhood, since I was just 2, I've been drawing and painting and playing around with colors. And by the time I was in, my 10th, I knew that I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Okay.
So that's what I pursued. I even studied fine arts alongside. And
design has been a big part of your life, right?
Design has always been a big part. and I think I was so clear that I wanted to pursue designing that I just attempted for NIFT, and I started in NIFT Mumbai.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
what an experience. Thereafter, I worked with Tommy Hilfiger as a buyer for them.
Awesome.
I was handling the whole of women's wear and handbags business
Awesome.
for them in the buying.
How much did design or the study of design,
Okay.
even though it's fashion, right? But design is design.
Yeah.
You have that creative bug in you, right?
Yeah.
While you were thinking about or while you were envisioning your dream holiday home,
Mm-hmm.
what were the outlines? How did you begin? What were the key ingredients there? What was the designing process like? Just talk us through that.
Okay, so this bug of designing or the creativity started from my travels of Europe when I was a mere kid.
Yeah.
Visited all the museums there, because that's what we do with the family, right? You go to all the
Absolutely,
museums
yes.
in Amsterdam and Paris. You go to the Louvre, you see Mona Lisa, and you have this, what next? And it was really nice that my parents were very supportive of this thing. So yeah, I kept so from clothing, it was a very organic transition into, I would say, the interiors
Part of the
the job
designing
right
your
now.
home,
Yeah,
yeah.
designing the home.
Hmm.
And yeah, so this interior thing came in during COVID, when we were sitting at home and watching Studio Maggie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And I just loved Shay's concept of the way she designed homes and all.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do that. I just I love interiors and love furniture.
Yeah.
And the lighting and all that. So that's where I started. I just jotted down what all I wanted, Pinterest and Instagram. Now that you have so many channels through which you can get inspiration.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where the interior thing came in.
When you were thinking about your dream holiday home, were there like specific rooms or the purpose of the specific room in mind, or were there like key elements? Maybe you thought about, I don't know, like because hills are different than plains, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The requirements in hills are different than
Absolutely.
the plains. The temperatures fall low to like minus few degrees here.
Yeah.
And even maybe the summers are not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So you need some sort of energy saving. You need a lot of features in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So there were to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
were there any features that you had pre-thought of कि ये मुझे घर में ज़रूर रखना है?
Yeah, there were these features, I would say, were the use of material that you find around this area.
Okay.
So I not to deviate from the topic, I wanted, whenever I have a dream home in the hills,
Yeah.
I do have sustainability in mind. So that
Okay.
was a big factor. That's one of the factors with my designing as well. Designing of clothes or whatever fashion, I believe in sustainability. So I wanted to use the material that is locally sourced, locally available.
Nice.
So there's a lot of pine. So you see a lot of pine forest around.
Yeah.
And that was a key ingredient that we inculcated in the property.
Yeah.
After that, we really wanted to have that cozy attic space. So that was always in my mind that if I build a house, it has to have an attic, and a skylight, of course. Why not? Uh, I love looking at the stars. It's just something that I do.
Yeah.
So I was like, whenever I build a house, I have to have a skylight.
Awesome.
So all that has come through. That's been a blessing.
Yeah.
And we wanted to keep it minimalist as well. We didn't want to go too overboard with the use of materials. So if you see, we've used these three materials. So like we've got bricks and we've got the wood, and these materials have been repeated across in the house. So yeah, we wanted to keep it minimalist as well.
Okay.
And the color palette, if I can talk about, the color palette has also been what you find naturally around here. So you have the white of the snow-covered peaks behind you.
Yeah.
You can see Trishul and Nanda Devi and the snow-covered peaks. So that has been that has just been taken from there and thrown onto the walls. I wanted white walls,
Nice.
exposed brick with white walls.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of pine. We've got really nice pine all around the house, on the floor, on the ceiling, even even in the decks that we've created around the skirting of the house. So colors have been the white and the gray, which is in the roof. Yeah. So if I can speak about the roof, it was directly inspired from the Katappa stone roof that all the old houses in the villages have.
Yeah.
If you've seen, there's a lot of, I think you call it slate around here.
Yeah.
So it's gray. So that was that particular shade that I wanted, and I had to go through so many catalogs. I had to sit down with the contractors and the architect, and we had to jot down that particular shade, and that's how we came up with the gray roof.
Yeah.
And
these are the aesthetics and the design philosophies and
so colors from the nature around, colors from the the surroundings have been splashed into it. And keeping up with the sustainability factor, we've gone in for rainwater harvesting.
Yeah, you're big on sustainability, right? What features, especially related to insulation, maybe energy saving, light saving भी करनी पड़ती है यहाँ. सूर्य जल्दी ढल जाता है, मैंने नोटिस किया 5-6 बजे. Have you inculcated any such features in your house ताकि energy saving हो पाए more towards the sustainable side?
Sustainability, actually, let me just come back to how the whole sustainability thing happened.
Oh yeah.
So when we stay in the plains and all, we don't really realize how much resources we are using. अच्छा पानी आ ही रहा है, electricity आ ही रही है 24/7. But
we take it for granted. Actually,
you take it for granted.
Yeah.
So after coming here, I had to literally during the summers, start calculating how much water we are using.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a concept in the army of one person 100 liters per day.
Okay.
That's for everything from your bathing to cooking to all things that you do with water.
Yeah.
So since there's no natural source of water, I had to start doing that, and particularly more so reusing the water. So I wanted to in fact put up a grey water recycling thing, which I am working on at the moment.
Okay.
But what we do is we you reuse the water from the kitchen, and it goes into the plants and the garden.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Very
We
nice.
ration the water. We really calculate. So 1 bucket of water for bathing, and that's it.
Yeah.
A person doesn't get more than that.
Fair enough.
So things like that. In terms of electricity, we're big on using LED around the house, and we've also got a lot of solar lights.
Yeah.
So there's sun from the sunrise to the evening. We've got ample sun during the day, so we have a lot of rechargeable.
Outdoors
lights.
are majorly solar lights, right?
Outdoors are majorly solar lights. And regarding the insulation of the house in winters, so first thing is, as you see, it's an exposed brick.
Yeah.
But in the interiors, we've got a lot of wood paneling. And the wood, the pine wood, in fact, keeps it really warm and cozy.
Yeah.
And we've gone in for UPVC windows all around and doors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no air that passes.
Yeah, and it helps you with that heat insulation purpose.
Absolutely,
Well,
it's amazing. I think I'm just in love with the UPVC glasses.
Okay.
And we've got glasses all around, so you get the natural light and the heat, and
the wood in the interiors also helps, right? Because you're basically maintaining temperatures of the floors.
Absolutely.
They don't get too cold in the winter. They don't get too warm in the summer.
Absolutely.
In any case, like you sort of.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
A very nice insulating material.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wood is one of the best materials to work with,
Awesome.
If used right, and if taken care for.
Yeah.
That's also one.
I want to talk about the direction of the home. There's a reason why I want to ask you this question.
Okay. Yeah.
Because your windows are pointed towards that beauty right there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And I think when you wake up, that's the first thing you probably see, and the morning sun.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the main villa is absolute north facing.
Yeah.
So you get the amazing Himalayan peaks, the moment you wake up from your bed.
Yeah.
And there's window on the east as well. So you see the sun rising from the east.
Yeah.
And the rooms onto, the right side from here will have the sunset. So you get to see the whole
The
thing.
sun setting
sun
right into the
rising,
valley, in fact.
absolutely, this side
Yeah.
of the valley.
Yeah.
So as you see, we are on a ledge.
Yeah.
If you see the terrain, we're absolutely on the ledge of this feature. So you've got 3 sides which are open. So you see the sunrise and sunset, and there's a lot of light from all the sides. In fact, not just the north, but the east and the west. Even at the back of the house, the kitchen, where the kitchen is situated, you get ample light from there as well.
Because architecturally, जितने लोगों से मैं मिलता हूँ, especially professionals, right? You're into design. अब मुझे बहुत बड़ा overlap दिखता है fashion में भी और architecture में भी.
Okay.
Because design is design.
Yeah.
The ideology.
Yeah.
It's the ideology that you work around, right?
Absolutely.
Majorly in architecture, you're probably working with the light. If you're not actually harnessing the power of the light, the design doesn't come out through. You're working with your surroundings. You're working.
You
with
don't
your
really need to switch on any lights inside the house during the day.
Yeah, I noticed
any
that.
lights. Yeah, that's like you just open the curtains. You don't use. I don't remember switching on the lights during the day at all.
Exactly.
It's only when the sun sets that we, the solar lights automatically get switched on. So that's an added advantage.
क्या बोलते हैं लोगों को घर दिखा दें? चलें?
Please.
Let's go. अब हम लोग एक्चुअली हैं मास्टर बेडरूम की बालकनी में. This is my favorite part of the house, but we'll feature each part of the house now and how they came around with the ideology and the design of it, and how they basically made it. इसके खूबसूरत होने की वजह बता देता हूँ आपको इस बालकनी की. दिन में मैंने यहाँ पर 3 दोपहर बिताई हैं पिछले 3 दिनों में. जो सूरज की किरणें यहाँ आती हैं वो इस तरीके की हैं कि they don't heat you up in a very harsh way. तो आपके या तो पैरों पे हीट लग रही है, या आप बैठे हैं तो आपके वो अपर बॉडी पे हीट लग रही है, एंड you're just warm, you're very cozy. एंड क्योंकि अब हार्श विंटर की तरफ वी आर ग्रेजुअली प्रोसीडिंग, so this sort of a balcony really gives you that quintessential wintry feel, जहाँ बाहर बैठकर अपना समय एंजॉय कर सकते हो, साफ हवा एंजॉय कर सकते हो और bird watching एंजॉय कर सकते हो, because bird watching is one of the biggest things here, because we have some beautiful birds here, right?
For sure.
What are some of the birds that you see?
There is there's an array of birds that comes in the morning here. That's the best thing about being in the mountains, that you're not woken up by the sound of, horn from the vehicles, but the sweet, sweet songs of the birds all around, tweeting. And some of the birds that you generally get to spot are a lot of raptors, vultures and eagles here, a lot of magpies. In fact, there's really beautiful colors of birds that I've never seen anywhere else that you get to see. There's one of my favorite ones. I hope you get to see it during the shoot, is the red-beaked blue magpie, which has a really big tail.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a sweet sound though. It's always,
It's right outside my bedroom window. I see it every day in the morning.
yeah.
I think bunch of them are in fact in the area.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
मेरे
that
favorite
come
है
here
यहाँ पर जो मैंने देखी है
frequently.
Himalayan vulture
Vultures.
because
yeah.
the flight of that bird is
Yeah,
just so
it's
majestic
really.
and it's right there, like you just see them right in front of you.
In fact, they're like flying below you, so you can
Yeah,
make
that's
out
true.
the absolute features
That's
and
true.
all. A lot of sparrows and magpies and bee eaters,
Yeah.
woodpeckers, even sometimes the Himalayan kingfishers.
Yeah.
So it's
And the way
it's a
you've
great
designed
place to be.
the way you've designed your room
Yeah,
is such that you can actually see it from
from the
your
bed. Yeah, from
Because
the
the
bed.
window,
So
there's
it's
a
like
huge
an
window in front of it,
extension. Yeah, so this window is like an extension into the room. This balcony is absolutely lovely with
Yeah.
this pine tree right behind it.
Mm.
So we've got a lot of pine trees on the property. We've not cut a single tree during the construction. That was an absolute no-no.
Yeah.
So we've some of the features like the deck has been built around the tree. So if you see in the main villa, you'll find that as
I
well.
noticed, yes.
This room in particular is facing east, and it has a beautiful skylight behind the bed as well. So even if you don't want to wake up to open the curtains, you get like beautiful light in the
Natural
morning,
light,
natural light. Lots of natural light, and it's got a slanting roof, again insulated with pine. The insulation in the house of the roof has been a 5-way insulation.
Yeah.
So it's really like nice and cozy in the cold days. Also, everything, even the furniture to the wardrobes, everything's been made with wood and kept to a minimalist palette.
Yeah. We'll in fact talk about that once we move into the other rooms.
Okay, great.
This was the master bedroom. Let's walk around to the other places.
Okay. So this is my favorite room of the entire villa. It's the attic. We've got a lovely A-frame in place, and even though there were certain aspects of the design that I didn't enjoy, like the beams coming out, but we had to put them so that the structure stays strong. It posed a little bit of a challenge, at least in this villa, to get the roof right. The height on both the sides is different, so that was a bit of a challenge for the workers to go ahead with. And it has an additional aspect, which is the skylight that we really enjoy. You can lay down on the bed and look at the stars in the night, or in the morning you get lovely light from these huge windows, and not to forget the view of the mountains right behind us from this window. And the furniture has been put as such that you can just lay down on the bed and look at the valley on that side, and getting the lovely sunset at this point from this window. So that is a lovely feature of this room. It's quite cozy, especially in the winters. I think the coziest of all the rooms.
Yeah.
And
even though we are on like the upper deck, because the roof is right there,
absolutely.
the insulation works.
Insulation works really well.
We can tell.
And the floor and all is wood, so it's really nice and comfortable to sit here and just read a nice, lovely book. One aspect that we had to look at was how to get all these windows all around the house. In fact, how to clean them. That's been a challenge,
especially for this room, because it's a higher floor,
and
there's nothing to step outside.
There's no deck this side, so there's
a
a free fall. So we generally go in for the magnetic cleaning, wipers for the windows to clean them. And
what about the skylight?
For the skylight, we use the wipers which come to clean the solar panels in your homes, the extension, telescope ones. So those are the things that we look into.
Is maintenance like what? You've been using this for a year now, right? Close to it. Has maintenance been a big issue for you?
Maintenance, I think it's been an issue, not as much as it would be in the plains where you get a lot of dust and pollution. You do get a little bit of dust and all, so we in the channels of the window especially. That is one thing that I have to look at. But other than that,
Pests.
not many. We did a pest control before we moved in.
It worked out.
It works out pretty well.
I think
Termite control is
that's
also.
termite.
Yeah.
Okay, that was done in the base. And
That
then
was done in the beginning.
I think it's also to do with the natural elements of the hill, right? Because it's non-polluted.
Yeah.
You don't have elements like, you know, we see these days those khan khajuras and whatnot, and all those kind of insects everywhere, especially in cities, because the sewage systems
Spiders.
Yeah.
Variety of spiders that
Yeah.
you know you have to.
There's like the sewage systems are running through the buildings, you know, like they're not very well maintained, even though like they're cities, but it's overburdened, and you know there's a lot of burden on the sanitation systems in the cities.
Okay.
One of the things that probably works for you guys is because it's fairly new, it's uninhibited, and so there's still that naturality to all these pests also, that you did a basic pest control and it's working for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And being so off grid, you know, you can't be shocked or spooked about. You might come across spiders and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't scare easy. We don't get scared of it. It's okay. You know, you take care of it.
I mean,
it's
it
just
comes with the
it comes with
but being off grid, you said something, and it's also important to actually build something which requires less maintenance, because building it was a challenge.
Yeah.
Maintaining, if it requires too much, will be another challenge. And yearly maintenance is something that can be done, but if it requires regular repairs, then it's a whole huge issue as well, right?
For sure. So the best thing to do is to go in for a minimalist design.
Yeah.
Have that the concept should be clear in your head, what exactly you want at the end of the day, but don't go in for too many design elements that clash with each other. So you can't do too many things, but keep it to a minimalist to have a good maintenance.
You won't believe like what's happening with majority of new houses, and especially like luxury homes, and the whole concept of luxury homes is amazing. Where if you're looking at a small element like a door as well, right? You want to burden that door with so many things because you want to make it lush, you want to make it expensive. Just for that sake, we keep on, I think we overdo things a bit, but we keep saying minimalism, we keep saying subtlety, but there is this sobriety to the design that I've seen in your place, especially the attic. It looks like a fun place. And I was speaking to your daughter earlier today in the morning, you know, and I said, Naira, which is your favorite room? And she said, she's like, it's the attic.
Yeah, for sure.
She didn't say attic properly, but I knew she said it was the attic.
She loves it here. She's just rolling about, playing her board games and all.
That's what living spaces are for, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Over the last 14-15 years of experience, especially into construction, I have met many homeowners who build their homes, builders, contractors, architects. Asan nahi hota kar banana, right? In fact, it is one of the biggest and the toughest tasks that you achieve in your lifetime, right? और बार बार बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां भी बोलती हैं कि घर एक ही बार बनता है. क्या तकलीफें आई, क्या चैलेंज आया? क्योंकि आप प्लेन्स में घर नहीं बना रहे, हिल है, शायद लैंडस्केपिंग भी की होगी, शायद हिल को अपने हिसाब से शेप दिया होगा. मैं बस इमेजिन कर रहा हूँ, आपने यू एक्सपीरियंस्ड इट, तो प्लीज स्टोरी क्या है?
सही बोलते हैं लोग कि घर एक ही बार बनता है, एंड इट्स डेफिनेटली चैलेंज टू बिल्ड अ हाउस, स्पेशली इन द माउंटेन्स. एक तो if you talk about cost, it is twice as much as what you pay to make a house in the plains. यहाँ पे एक ही चैलेंज नहीं आता, हर एक तरीके से हर जगह पे चैलेंज आता है, फ्रॉम गेटिंग द वर्कर्स, द ट्रेन्ड वर्कर्स जो वो सही तरीके से कर पाए. जैसे कि ये बड़े बड़े ग्लासेस लगा दिए हमने, UPVC ग्लासेस. देयर आर वेरी फ्यू पीपल हु आर ट्रेन्ड टू डू इट,
or who wanted to do it,
and who wanted to do it also.
So were you told against them कि यार नहीं इतनी बड़ी विंडो मत लगाओ, बहुत मुश्किल होगी?
All the time, every time कि from the design to जो final product बना, उसमें जैसे हमें चाहिए थे massive glasses.
Yeah, because the view is beautiful.
The
in
view
your
is
place,
beautiful.
right?
Why do you want to
You wanna
have
maximize on
छोटे-छोटे?
it.
So
Yeah.
इतने बड़े glasses कभी लगे ही नहीं इस एरिया में. You know, तो ये glasses लाना, उस पे सही तरीके से उनको fit करना was a big challenge. Getting the workers वो available हों, you know, कुछ ना कुछ त्योहार कुछ चल रहा है तो to get them from Rudrapur, you know, once a month they would come and do it and फटाफट करेंगे 2 दिन में and then they would go back. Then there'll be some more challenge. They will have to come back.
फिर तो यार scheduling में भी बहुत problem आई होगी.
Scheduling was a big challenge, you know.
कि कब आएंगे? मतलब आपका टारगेट शायद रहता होगा कि आज मंडे ये काम हो जाए. Maybe 2 Mondays तक शायद ये काम नहीं हो रहा.
नहीं होता. You have to keep chasing them, keep
so the
calling
timelines
them.
keep extending.
The timelines kept increasing and increasing, and it took about 4 years to build something which would have been completed in 8 months, I would say. And not just the exterior bit of the house, but interiors as well. As we know that interiors take equal amount, a lot more time. Yeah.
Because you're spoiled for choices.
For sure.
There's a whole design philosophy which is completely different, and it can be different from room to room as well, right?
Here, that's what we tried to do. We didn't, you know, tweak too many things in every room.
Yeah.
So you'll get the same kind of look in each room.
Yeah.
Design, not just finalizing the tiles. The tiles mein, matlab, to back and forth, you know, so many things, something I would convey. So there were multiple channels to go through, and going to the shops themselves, यहाँ से 4 घंटे दूर जाके वहाँ पे आप कंफर्म करके आओ कुछ और, you know, all these challenges that
जो फाइनल किया वो अवेलेबल है नहीं है
या नहीं है,
then again back and
उसमें
forth.
उतने अवेलेबल हैं कि नहीं है, from all the tiles whichever we've put, those also, उसमें भी एक बहुत ही you know,
जब आप प्लेन्स में होते हो या स्पेशली बिग सिटीज में होते हो, you are spoiled for choice in terms of vendors, right?
Yeah.
And they come to you.
Yeah.
Right? It's easy for them to reach you. तो यहाँ तो बिल्कुल ही उल्टा था. You had to actually go out there, right? And selecting a vendor, probably हो सकता है इतनी choices भी ना रही हो, तो जो मिला उसी से शायद काम करना पड़ा होगा.
बिल्कुल. And for me, this was the first time that I was building a house. You know, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So I had to, you know, obviously, like ask the people who are experienced in it, and then you know, put forth my things. Like for getting those big glasses, also I wanted something which can have you know, a room, indoor outdoor kind of space, so that पूरे वो channels खुलें और वो, you know, windows खुलें. उसमें भी they'd never seen this kind of concept before. So उसमें भी I had to really convince the contractors also, even the architect. I said, I want this, I need this to be done, and it has to be done. Eventually हुआ वो, and you can see.
Did it happen because you were adamant, or
I had to be adamant, you know, at multiple places I had to be adamant, and
so what seemingly seemed impossible to them was later achieved because you kept
I had to be probably that's part of my personality, that, you know, if I want something it has to be that certain way, you know, bit of a perfectionist in that sense.
And was that hurting in some way? Like
it hurt, for sure. It wasn't easy, you know, convincing everyone to be on board with all those things, with all those challenges. But eventually, it came through, and I'm pretty happy about it.
How much time did it take for you to do the civil construction, and how much time after that for the interiors?
So, civil construction took about 3 years, and the interiors itself took a year.
Yeah, and 3 years partly because of COVID.
Partly
as well, right?
because of COVID also.
Yeah. And then the challenge on the hill.
And coming all the way down here, and there's never been this size of a house being built all the way here in this kind of vicinity. So
मैंने एक चीज और notice करी है. आपने बताया कि of course when you saw the piece of land, it was not a flat surface. It was a hill.
It was a hill, yeah.
Right, and then you had to basically do that landscaping. You had to basically shape it.
It was a hill, but it had terraces, you know.
okay. So step farming type farming.
It was a farmland basically. It had those steps. So with both these villas, they although the material, everything is the same, but the design has come out differently because this particular one was built on a ledge. So, you know, you had to build those columns from the ground up. They had to dig slightly more deeper to hit the bedrock, and then start constructing this. So, and the design also kept changing.
Yeah,
it wasn't something that your initial drawing say a final product. उसमें भी काफी changes आए, and we were like, ठीक है चलो, let's go ahead with it. And so there were so many multiple phone calls.
Changes happened because of the terrain, or
even the terrain, that did. So one of the villas is built more on a flatter surface, and the other one is on like steps. So steps में क्या हो जाता है, you have and we didn't want to cut too much in, we wanted the area. We wanted it to.
You don't want to mess with the.
We didn't want to mess. Like I didn't want to mess with the area
the
here.
Structural integrity of the hill as well.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You actually mess it up too much, then it becomes weaker. Also, I don't know. Like, and again, the whole sustainability angle.
Yeah, the whole sustainability angle goes for 6. Yeah. But yeah, it. In fact, when the columns started building up, you had that cave-like feeling. कि आप literally earth के अंदर से ही आप उठा रहे हो और वो room. So in fact the bottommost room is like built inside the earth.
There was like a crevice that you actually created into a room.
Exactly. Yeah. And then you had those exposed back wall with the rocks, which was a nice thing, which eventually looked really good.
There are like a very small few aspects in the house also which you haven't touched at all, because I noticed जो सीढ़ी आपकी उतर रही है जो नीचे वाले रूम के साथ, तो आपने हिल को बिल्कुल भी टच नहीं किया. एंड आई एक्चुअली वाज आस्किंग इफ यू वांट टू ब्यूटिफाई इट, बिकॉज़ हम लोगों को क्या शहरों में रहने की आदत ऐसी है कि एनीथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट एस्थेटिकली प्लीजिंग, आई वांट टू चेंज इट, आई probably want to paint over it, probably want to get a stone done, probably want to do a facade stone or something, right? And you said something very interesting कि ऋषभ में कोई बदलना नहीं है कुछ यार. I want to keep some natural element of it.
For sure. I didn't want to change the integrity of that the feature.
Yeah.
That's the beauty, that's what you build around it. You don't tweak it to, everything to this thing. You build around it, and that's the beauty of a house. And that's, I really like those hills and the rock formations, which are naturally there. So why should you remove those rocks and, make it into a man-made thing, which is naturally, it's just,
So when we actually go man-made mode, in that mode, we pretty much want to disrupt everything and create something to our necessity or our desire, right? But you didn't exactly do that, and then you also achieved what you wanted. So yeah, kudos.
No, I love nature. I love the way it's already been created,
And that was kind of the whole philosophy of making a home here, right?
That's the whole philosophy.
You want to maintain it, you want to actually protect it in some way, right?
The whole sanctity of the place, you're in the middle of the forest. Why do you want to, tweak it so much to make it another concrete village, You don't want to do that. You want to be in sync with it.
Yeah.
So nothing, in your face kind of thing. Even the color palette that I spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
It's been kept with how the nature is around, You have the pine, you have... So the wood also, if you look at it, it looks like natural wood. So
how do you maintain wood in the mountains? यार मतलब एक तो मेरे को लगता है कि एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है. अब आपका घर जब पूरा हुआ था उससे पहले monsoons नहीं आए थे, right? Then there were monsoons as well.
There were monsoons,
so how was the rainy season for you? Did you have to like retouch anything after the monsoons immediately, or like things were built in a proper way?
No,
you
not
had a good experience.
We've had a good experience, thankfully. We didn't have to do too much. So the wood has already been treated, and it's had its coatings and all. Every year, that's what you do. You do a top coat to give it a nicer, fresher look.
And
but
you're talking about the wood exteriors? Or
exteriors as well, even the interiors.
Okay.
So there's the same philosophy in the interiors as well. The wood has not been painted on, it's not been plastered on. It's how it is, naturally.
Yeah, lumber.
Lumber, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the word. So, it's
brilliant.
That's the way that we've gone about it.
And I also noticed that you don't have many light fixtures in your house. Like you don't have. Usually, again, हम क्या करते हैं कि when we are building a modular home, or let's say we're building from scratch, a new home, the beauty part of it is heavily dependent on the kind of lighting that we do in the house, right? आपने बहुत subtlety से lights लगाई हैं, because I think the main focus was on natural light first, right? And I see that those light fixtures are very limited, and they're in those particular places, and they're doing their job in a very beautiful way. In fact, I'm going to showcase some of those lights, because I was a fan of one of the lights that's in the living room, where you have like a piece of 5-6 lights, and the wall, when it shows the shadow because of those 6 lights array, you get different silhouettes of those shadows onto the wall, and in the evening it just looks very artistic and it looks very beautiful. We were talking about the water problem and how they store water, and how they've done rainwater harvesting. We are here at the location of the 25,000 liter tank. Is that correct?
Yeah.
This is for one villa, right?
Yeah.
You want to explain?
So yeah, this is basically 25,000 liter tanks. We've partitioned them in 2 different chambers.
Okay.
So one of them has the direct connection with the rainwater pipes that are coming down, and they fill up that tank with it. The other one is a reserve, which we generally keep stocked up.
Yeah.
And the water has multiple filtrations. So there's one filtration when the water is going up in the top tanks, and getting that water pressure has also been posed a little bit of a challenge for us. So we had to get the special pumps installed
for water pressure.
For water pressure.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the main.
So basically, what we're collecting is rainwater from the roofs.
From the roofs,
and then it goes through those pernalas, and it goes through the pipe systems.
Correct.
Goes through the filtration system.
Correct.
Fills up a segment of the
tank,
underground tank, and then we use a basic pump to pump it up.
And a specialized pressure pump has been installed to give that pressure in the washrooms.
Nice. Very nice.
And it's all filtered, so the multiple filtrations.
Rainwater, especially like in the hills, is usually clean, but like,
also,
do you want to do it?
Yeah, so rainwater is generally clean, but it has, it generally gets a lot of kai, as you say, and it's a little bit sticky.
You have to use any chlorine or
sometimes,
Okay. For the stored tank.
For the stored tanks. Yeah. So you put that chlorine to kind of remove all the gunk, and the filtration also helps removing all the gunk before the water fills up the top tanks.
Okay.
So that's
was the purpose for having so many filters? Did you want the water to be potable or no? Like, is that not?
Yes, we want the water to be potable for sure. So that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, but we don't use that for drinking, right? We still have a filter for that.
We have,
case, right?
Of course.
That's the Indian mindset, right? We are not overly satisfied with whatever we've done. We still want to add another layer of safety,
absolutely, right? Absolutely.
Great. We were talking about not doing too much with the hill. We're talking about not cutting too much of it. Now I want to discuss a bit of a landscaping with you. We have and you have like ample space, like extra spaces out here, and we're standing on a D here, another D there, and you still have a lot of open spaces up there as well. What's the plan for these spaces, and what are you planning to do? And you because you just got done with construction, so what do you want to do here in the future?
So at the moment, we've just started growing the local veggies. And the gahat dal that you get over here.
Okay.
And we started planting that, and one season of rain it's seen, and it's grown pretty nicely. So all of us are big into spirituality and yoga and all. So we do a lot of yoga sessions here and meditation. It's the perfect spot to do that. So there are multiple levels here. So one can have their own, privacy if you want to sit by yourself and do that. In the future, we would definitely want it to be a completely sustainable property. So more solar panels would come in, so that we are off any other sort of
you're not dependent on electricity means.
And that's the plan. And
you have a regular power backup right now, though, but
we do have that. For sure.
Do you get a lot of power cuts here?
Not much, thankfully. We don't, and that's been a blessing in disguise.
Solar will help you basically conserve a lot of energy, in fact. not just the bills, like you actually want to be sustainable. So
Yeah, that's the idea. So
Yeah.
in the future, we would definitely want it to be a completely sustainable property, and probably horticulture is one thing that I've always felt I should be doing if I have ample space around, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
There is a lot of wildflower here and a lot of good honey that you can make.
Oh yeah, nice.
That is one
I
more
saw
thing.
cherry blossom also. Yeah, like it was beautiful. Like in all of these places,
Yeah,
in the surroundings, like cherry blossoms. There, the flora and fauna is amazing, isn't it?
it's an Indian variety of cherry blossom, so not your.
And you have like major population increase in fowl also, so you have a lot of leopards also.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
yeah, around in the surrounding areas. It's Uttarakhand, so you'll find leopards everywhere,
Yeah.
not just here. But yeah, there's good flora and fauna.
I just
all
want to
around.
like stand here and just like talk to you,
Mhm.
like just know about the place a lot more, because अंदर जाने का मन नहीं कर रहा है और बाहर इतनी सुंदर हवा है और इतनी साफ हवा है. As a Delhiite,
Absolutely.
I'm just sort of not used to it somewhere,
Absolutely pure air, and that's one of the factors that we love being here. And we've just seen this year here, but in the future we do plan to develop it further in more eco-friendly ways.
Yeah.
So uh,
Sounds
maybe a
great.
little meditation deck would probably come over here,
Okay.
where people can sit and
Nice.
just feel the elements. So you've got the air and the the entire open space and the earth, of course, and there's a river flowing down below. So that's again a beautiful
Yeah.
water aspect that
Yeah, and you were
comes.
talking about solar panels. It kind of seems like the theme around this place and around those villages, because I see like a huge grid of solar panels
Yeah, a lot of
there, and electricity being.
So this place sees a lot of sunlight, right? So
Yeah.
why shouldn't you harness that power of what
Yeah.
the nature is already providing you? you
Yeah.
know?
The valley is such, like the shape of
The
the
valley
whole
is such, yes.
the entire landscaping is such that you can actually have a lot of light and you can actually harness it. Yeah.
So
it just-
from all the seasons, you will get sunlight during all the seasons.
Yeah.
And you definitely love sunlight in winters.
Oh yeah.
So we are always outdoors in the sun, and that's the beauty of being here.
आपने हमने सारी बात कर ली, but गिनई इस गांव के बारे में हमने बात नहीं करी, and how we are supporting the systems in the village. I want to know about the village a little bit.
Okay. So first of all, suddenly you're an outsider for the villagers when you come here, and that also takes a little getting used to.
Yeah.
On both the sides, not just them accepting you, even you accepting them. So it began like that, indirectly supporting our local vendors here.
Yeah.
So we definitely source our vegetables and all directly from the village, and bilkul fresh, simple vegetables like lauki, tori, and all. They taste wonderful here. पता नहीं it's हवा पानी का जादू है या it's just
वैसे भले ही लौकी तोरी कोई ना खाता हो, यहाँ खाने का मन कर जाएगा.
So it's really nice कि वो खुद ही आ जाते हैं and they get their veggies जो भी वो उगाते हैं, and they get a little income out of that, and employing them for various small little tasks that you have around the property is another way. And we it's just nice to interact with all of them. So a few months it took them to kind of digest the fact that ये लोग यहाँ आके रह रहे हैं. So that was a wonderful experience of learning and building that trust with them. And it's a nice quaint little village. दूर दूर घर है, लोगों के इतने पास पास चिपके नहीं है.
तो आप उनके लिए stranger नहीं हो.
अब तो बिल्कुल नहीं. Now we are very much part
somebody
of.
who just came into Uttarakhand and into the village.
You have to
Somebody who's a
adopt
part.
that. You shouldn't have any any kind of ness around you. You have to blend in the environment. And
हाँ, क्योंकि घर सिर्फ वो मकान नहीं होता जो आपने बनाया है. घर वो community भी है जिसमें आप
exactly it's that community that you build around you. And so they have a nice, now we have a good bond कि वो लोग कभी भी आ जाते हैं, मतलब औरतें आ जाती हैं, ऐसे बैठ के हम लोग अपना चाय पानी करते हैं साथ में, गप्पे लड़ाते हैं. Lot of kids, they come, they sit and we sing local songs and all.
Yeah.
I also know a lot of Kumaoni songs that I sit and I tell them, chalo ye gaate hain. So nothing much. They just play the drums up, carton se bana ke. Basharte we sit and uh, sing those songs along with them.
Yeah.
And attending their weddings and funerals. We we
You've created a whole community.
we've created
You've
that
become
community.
a part of it.
Exactly. So
it's not merely existing, it's living, right?
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
where the home completes itself.
Absolutely. उनके दुख दर्द में शामिल होना, उनके celebrations में शामिल होना is what we really enjoy. And
बहुत छोटा सा गांव है गिनाई, isn't it? It's not many people here.
Not many people, and mostly a lot of them go to the plains and to look for work and jobs, which we've built that trust with them. They can also work here and stay at their homes, and that is also one more thing. And it's a beautiful thing. We've created that relationship with them.
Wow.
And that's the beauty. I mean, it's just what we enjoy and love doing that. I mean, for me, it's a very special place. I've called myself a Pahadi since childhood, so I finally found my home and I'm staying here. And that's the story of Ginai.
How many आप जब यहाँ आते हो तो कितना टाइम रहते हो? Like you've been here for like 2 months now.
I stay a long, I mean, 4 months, 5 months.
You try to spend your summers here?
Definitely summers here and even winters. So why should you stay in so much pollution when you have an option of clean air?
Yeah. Does it snow here?
It does. It snows. But
you spent a December or a January
it doesn't
sort of thing?
stick at this place. It does definitely snow. The snow stays on the higher peaks, ridges around, all around us. The snow would stick, so you get that mesmerizing view of snowfall. You can even get to experience the snowfall here, just not the mess that comes with it.
Oh.
Yeah.
घर कैसा होना चाहिए? क्या एलिमेंट्स होने चाहिए घर में? Is it the living room that makes a house? Is it the light in the house that makes a house? Is it your cozy bedroom that gives you that comfort? शायद कहीं ना कहीं हम सारे एक ही चीज़ ढूंढ रहे हैं, and वो चीज़ है सुकून. जहाँ सुकून मिल जाए कहते हैं वही घर है. लेकिन आज की रोज़ाना की ज़िंदगी के अंदर हमने I think every one of us is so ambitious and we all want to grow. We take a bite of something much bigger than what we can actually manage. तो उस भाग दौड़ में, उस stressful life के अंदर eventually शायद एक getaway चाहिए होता है. लोग आजकल उसको escape कह देते हैं, but मुझे लगता है वो escape नहीं है. It's a journey where you're trying to find yourself, where you're trying to be at peace, not just with your surroundings, but with your loved ones, with yourself, and deep within. It's been a spiritual 3 days at this beautiful property, Off Grid Ginai. Their Instagram handle is Off Grid Ginai. That's GINAI. And if you like this episode, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and do follow us on Instagram at BuildMate Podcast. I hope you have a lot of questions because I would love to answer all these questions for you. Write to me at buildmatepodcast@gmail.com. मैं थोड़ा नॉर्मल से थोड़ा ज़्यादा आपको मेलो लग रहा हूँगा because I'm actually at peace here in Ginai. And thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.